from Warner Brothers Entertainment. It is Evil Dead Rise on beautiful and outstanding, glorious 4K. This, of course, is the new Evil Dead movie, which could stand alone as its own movie, or you could toss it in with basically any of the rest of them, because it kind of does its own thing. There's some good, and there's some bad with it. It's not like the perfect Evil Dead movie. One thing I will say about it, I know originally this thing was intended just to be like a Paramount Plus thing or HBO Max thing. I think it's HBO Max. And it ended up getting a theatrical release. And I think you can kind of tell in parts that this movie maybe was a little bit intended just to be released on streaming. Not that that's like a downgrade these days, but it's kind of like the new age demand only, or the new age, straight to video. Although it does have quite a gory and bloody punch to it at times. But I feel like when we get to the Dead Rise portion of it, the high rise portion of it, that things seem like maybe you could have done a little bit more, because I kind of expected like a Demons 2 vibe here, but things are kind of more regulated to just like one floor of this high rise thing, which is kind of a bummer. But we will get to the other parts of it that are good. Plot wise, you got a family there, their dad's not there. The sister to the mother shows up, she's pregnant, and it just so happens the same night this happens, there's an earthquake, and the kids discover the Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon, one of them, which, there could be many of them, apparently only 3 of them, if you listen to the Evil Dead lore. And then the Evil Dead stuff starts happening, and it gets violent, and it gets gnarly. And one good thing is, when I looked at the cast, when I looked at the mother and the family and the kids, I was like, well, these are just people there's no way that nothing bad's gonna happen to these people. I mean, maybe one, but not, and then it kind of surprises you with who, ends up on the bad end of stuff in this one a little bit. Also, the bad thing is there's also a bunch of characters that show up, and you're like, well, these characters are just here to die, and that's kind of a bummer. It does suffer without having Bruce Campbell. I know at some point you got to let go of that, and you got to kind of just focus on what you got. You got to focus on the fact that Bruce Campbell can't do this forever. But it does kind of suck that we don't have Bruce Campbell here, although it kind of sucked originally when the 2013 one came out without him, but that one was still great, and I still think that one's way better than this one. That one, in my opinion, is probably my favorite Evil Dead movie besides the original Evil Dead movie, so that's where I rank with that version. This one, probably not dead last, because I think, I always thought Army of Darkness was a little bit too comedic for me. This one kind of balances everything. There's not a whole lot of like ha-ha funny stuff, but there is some dark humor. I would put this one over Army of Darkness personally, because I'm not a big Army of Darkness guy, but it would definitely be underneath Evil Dead 2, the remake, whatever you want to call it, in 2013 version, and then the original, which is my favorite. And of course, I don't even go count TV show. TV show's cool, but TV show kind of seems like it doesn't fit in with this. But it ends well. Maybe it starts better than it goes, because I think the Evil Dead stuff just works better in the cabin in the woods rather than a high rise in the city of California, which just kind of seems kind of off to me. But nonetheless, it is okay for what it is. 3 stars from me, 3 out of 5. Like I said, there is some creepy moments in it, and you definitely get gore. It's just sometimes it's like we're trying to be a little too cute. I've already used that, by the way, if you try to get that. Tries to be a little too cute for its own good at times, and some stuff just doesn't work. I think the violence and the gore does, as Blu-ray and 4K. The violence and the gore works, but the setting doesn't work to me, and they kind of don't use the setting enough for me. And I don't know, even the beginning of it, the very beginning before the title seemed like a better movie to me than the actual movie we get, and that's, in a little hipster cabin in the woods. It ain't like your old school one. But nonetheless, Evil Dead Rise 3, not bad. Hope to see more of them. But still a long way off from the original. If we do another one, can we get back to the woods? I feel like the woods is needed. It's like taking Jason out of the lake, putting him in Manhattan. Like, it's a cool concept, but it kind of still doesn't work. You kind of want Jason in the woods. You kind of want Evil Dead in the woods. So, yeah, it's okay, but it ain't great.